Good evening, one and all, and welcome to our Creative Art Center Consultation and Mix. We will now invite you to stand as we have a word of prayer. Sovereign God and creator of all things that is good, we pause at this time to acknowledge your presence, to acknowledge your guidance and your wisdom. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for creating talents, creating the beauty of the arts. And as we convene this consultation about our home, Father, we pray that the discussion would be fruitful, it would be productive, it would be meaningful and beneficial to all. We thank you in advance that in the next 3 to 4 years, we'll have our home fully functional, fully established, and doing what you designed it to do. We thank you for what will be accomplished this evening. In Jesus' name, amen. You may have your seats. Honorable Samuel Duggins, Minister of the Creative Economy, et al. Miss Valencia Sider, Permanent Secretary. Miss Robertine Webb, Director of Creative Economy. Mr. Pierre Leiber, Director of Culture. Mr. Farron Lawrence, our developer. Staff of the creative economy, all creatives, both present and in a virtual space, media houses, general public, welcome. A pleasant good evening to all. Pleasant good evening to all. There you go. I trust that we have been friends with Tammy as she has been friends with us, and we are grateful to be in this space in our right minds, and that all went well. Dear friends and family of the creative economy, welcome and thank you for being part of this important occasion. We're gathered here together on this day to witness and celebrate the marriage of the creatives and the developers, design and destiny. Every one of us has a deep desire for artistic home, for artistic development in a creative space that we can call home. Multi-purpose, dynamic, income generating, undisturbed. Today, promises will become permanent and plans will break forth into fruition. Thank you for joining us today and being part of the process. Rest assured that your opinions matter to us. The objectives of this evening's consultation, we, of course, acknowledge the need for a very timely space. Many moons ago, before I was born, persons were desirous of a space, and we still are desirous of a space. And so we acknowledge the need for all creatives, all artistic, like-minded individuals to have a home, a physical space where we can work, where we can do our craft, and there is no time better than now. We would present our projected plans to you this evening and discuss the design and the purpose for which it was created or which it will be created and constructed. You are encouraged to suggest enhancements. You're encouraged to critique and give your feedback as positive or negative as they may seem. They may trigger somebody or something to inspiration. And so we entertain your concerns as well as your comments. Without no further ado, we would invite Minister Samuel Duggins to give some brief remarks at this time.
Wonderful evening to all the creatives here present. Allow me to observe the well-presented protocol, but just to make special mention of my hardworking permanent secretary in the Ministry of Sports and the Creative Economy, and the rest of the hardworking staff for ensuring that the creatives always have a home and an outlet and a hardworking and dedicated team to support the actions. Now, I sit here tonight a bit nostalgic because I could remember somewhere around 5 years old saying to my mom at the time that I wanted to become an entertainer. And I remember being chastised and hearing that that's not something to want to become. Now, looking at it, it was a blessing in disguise, because what that allowed me to do was to change a bit of my focus and be a bit more intent on academics. And I was able to graduate primary school, high school valedictorian, and I was able to move on. But life has a funny way of bringing you back to your goals and your dreams, right? Because here's it today, I sit here honored to be the minister of the creative economy. And not just to be the minister, but a minister to be delivering the Creative Art Centre. For years, I've provided a home for entertainers through Island Expressions. And for years, I had to go through the struggles of finding places to host entertainment gigs. For years, we've had to struggle with venue operators and owners trying to negotiate a space that we could have some sort of a place that we could express ourselves and showcase our talents. I struggled with that for near 15 years, month after month. Today, we're here to set permanent residence. We're here to put a foundation that our creatives can look at and say, that's my home. That belongs to us. I couldn't have a prouder moment. And not just because we're getting a home, but it will be the best home in the entire hemisphere. I could not be more proud. And so I want to thank all the players involved. I want to thank Farron and the team of developers that would have worked diligently on this project. I want to thank the Prime Minister and the rest of my cabinet colleagues, where I just had to leave cabinet to be here, for their support in this endeavor. I want to thank the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, particularly the people of St. Christopher IV, who elected me to help to be part of this vision and this delivery. And I want to thank you, the creatives, who would have been my support for years, whether it was Zidane, the artist, whether it was the promoter, whether it was the producer, whether it was the writer, the designer. In every facet, you have supported me along the way. And this is just but a token of me returning that support to you. And I hope that tonight we could see it fit to put our ideas to ensuring that this is a masterpiece with the full contribution of every single one of us. And a masterpiece that we can look forward 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now and be proud that we were a part of delivering that. And so without any further ado, I would again like to say thank you to all of you and reiterate how much of an honor it is to be the minister able to bring this to this position at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Duggins. And I just want to remind you to let your passions and all the struggles that you've been through as a creative to drive you to making all the negotiations possible to deliver. I have on my paper #delivery. And I want to let you know that as creatives, we are going to put fire under your feet, not even foot, your 2 feet in getting this done. Because I believe that you feel what we feel, and I know if you don't do anything else in the next, well, a year done gone, 3 to 4 years, this must be done. Put your name, set your legacy. We pray for the support. We will be the support, the scaffolds, 110%. So we're working together with you. The season is now, and you are ripe for it. We continue, and Mr. Farron Lawrence will now introduce our developer.
Good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. First, please allow me to adopt the protocol so ably established before, except to special recognition to my good friend, our minister here. Always a pleasure working with him. We have been working together on this project for almost a year now, and it's really a pleasure to work with the minister. My duty here this evening is a simple one, essentially to let you know who the developers are behind this project. I'm going to start by telling you just a little background of who they are. The first one is a gentleman by the name of Cyrus Motivasal. He lives in Dubai. He is a lawyer by training. He's actually Dr. Cyrus Motivasal. He has a PhD in international investment law. The other gentleman his name is Fahim, Abbas Fahim. He is an engineer by training. He has done many major projects in Dubai and those parts of the world. And I have to give you some background about these gentlemen. So both gentlemen became citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis through the Citizenship by Investment program. And immediately, it was not enough for them just to have the St. Kitts and Nevis passport. They started looking to see, what can we do in this country? How can we make a difference? And the first thing they did was, if you're familiar with the Imperial Bay, right next to Koi, that's the first project we did together. So these gentlemen have a track record of producing. When they set out to do something, they do it. This project came up, we discussed it, we thought it was a good idea, something that the country can benefit from. They wanted to do something that would benefit particularly the youth, and so this jumped out at them. And immediately we set about working to get this project going. I've had the privilege of working with these gentlemen for the last 15 years, so we go way back. The project that you're about to hear about is one that is very similar to one that they've done in Dubai. I think it was this year myself, well, last year? This year, myself and the minister, along with some others, went to Dubai to look at that facility. We're talking about a facility, one of it's a major facility in Dubai that they have created. They designed it, constructed it, and are actually operating it. It has large spaces for events, games, restaurants, similar to what they're proposing to do here. So I just wanted to give you some background to put in perspective who we are dealing with. We are dealing with very honorable, serious gentlemen who know what they want, set about to do it, and I think we are going to be very pleased at the outcome of this, just as we were similarly pleased with the outcome of Imperial Bay project. So without further ado, I'm going to turn over to technology for them to introduce themselves further and the project. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, are you hearing my voice?
Yes, we are.
Yes. Hello to everyone. My name is Melika Asgari, and I'm glad to have the honor to tell you the overview of this beautiful Cadence project on behalf of Prime Developments and Zomorodi and Associates Architectural Studio. If we can flip the pages with me, we can start from the first page with all the story and move forward. Can you have the access to the PowerPoint or PDF? Yes, thank you. First of all, in the first page, you can see the overview of the Cadence project. The Cadence Art Centre project is a massive undertaking that aims to create an iconic landmark in St. Kitts and Nevis. In the second page, you can see the site plan, which is showing the project integrated with the nature and with the roads and all the entrances that are welcoming guests. The center will be spread over 7 levels and will cover a total area of 32,800. We can switch to page 3. Yes. The project is located on a land of 28,648, and as you can see, it's in 7 levels. You can go to page 4. One of the main goals of this project is to build a cultural entertainment complex, a music, art, and dance center for young people, which is also creating job opportunities for thousands of people during both the construction and operation phases. Page number 5. Thank you. The design of the Cadence Art Center has been carefully considered to reflect the rich culture, beautiful nature, and history of St. Kitts. The impact of music and dance has also been taken into account during the design process. I mean, we have an outdoor music hall, which you can see in the number 5, which is having a capacity of thousands of people. An indoor amphitheater with the capacity of about 500 to 600 people, and many art dances, art academy, and dance classes in several rooms and spas are part of this reflection. We can turn to page 6. This center will not only serve as a tourist attraction, but will also provide a platform for local artists to showcase their talents. The Cadence Art Center project is a significant step toward the economic growth and development of St. Kitts and Nevis. You can turn to page 7. It will not only create job opportunities, but will also provide a space for families and community to come together and enjoy various forms of art and entertainment. The center is set to become a cultural hub and the symbol of pride for people of St. Kitts and Nevis. The roof of the project acts like a gathering space with great view to the city. And by utilizing absorbing materials, we collect water for both landscape design and for reusing in the complex. We can turn to page 8. To briefly say the facilities that are contained in the center, we can name cultural parts. The outdoor music hall, as I said, with the capacity for thousands of people for different festivals and performances and events in larger scale. That is having a unique form, and it's different with other outdoor music halls in all over the world that will make it iconic. We have indoor amphitheater, we have galleries, museum, event center, library, cinemas, public workspaces, classes, dance classes, studios, music studios. And we have some leisure parks, game areas for both kids and adults. We have kids play area, table games, nets, board games, and other games. And there are other facilities which are completing the whole complex. The shopping area, the Fashion Avenue, offices, sick bay area, parking lots, facilities, VIP guest lounge, food court, restaurants, bars, and cafes. We can turn to page 9. In other slides, we are going to show the plans of the project, and I'll explain a summary of the location of each part in the whole plan. You can turn to page 10. This is the ground floor. From the eastern part, we start with the parking lots. We have 210 cars capacity in this part. We have an area dedicated to facilities for all facilities that is needed in a modern center like this. We have the amphitheater room. We have an amphitheater in 4 levels. In this level, we have backup rooms. The amphitheater has a unique design, which you can see a frame of the performance scene from the outside as a part of a facade. On the next slide, we have the food court, kitchen area, the main hall, museum, and classes and studios. These are 2 pictures of the outdoor and indoor music halls and performance halls. Then we have the first floor plan. On the right side, we have shopping area, which is having a different access from outdoor specifically. We have, again, the outdoor music hall. The outdoor music hall, as it's really huge, we have it in all the levels. Then we have a bar with access both from the public space and the outdoor music hall. We have an amphitheater, indoor amphitheater in 4 levels, and we have the capacity of about 500 people. Then we have museum and a restaurant with a unique menu, which is also in 4 levels and have a terrace and balcony on the top of the shell of the complex. On the next page, we can see a render of the library and gallery on the right side, and a render of part of a food court on the left side. In all of these areas, we have this great view to the city, as the city is really iconic and the nature is really attractive for both users and tourists. On the next page, on the second floor, we have, again, the shopping area. It's the second floor of shopping area. We have the outdoor music hall, amphitheater. We have a cinema. We have 2 small salons of about 12 seats in this level. And in another level, we have a huge salon with the capacity of 100 people for large show scenes. And then we have a library, restaurant, and offices in this level. On the next page, you can see two renders of this beautiful library and gallery and workspace area. Then on the next page, you can see the start of the game area. The game area, as we mentioned before, is using both for adults and kids simultaneously. And we have different entertainment parts for each space. Then we have a fashion avenue, and we have a cafe, again, outdoor music hall, amphitheater, food court, cinema, a public work area, gallery, and restaurant. On the next page, we can see two shots of this main halls, which is a place for gathering. And on the next page, we have fourth floor plan. Again, we have the game area with other games. We have the outdoor music hall, food court, gallery, and event center, and restaurant. Here is two other shots of the halls of the complex. And then on the fifth floor, which has an access from the upper road of the site plan, we have in this level, we have access to the shell as a roof that we have the view to the city, and we can have a gathering, and it's integrated with the nature and have some water ponds and have a unique landscape for gatherings. And we have the access with these stairs in the middle of the form to the outdoor music hall. And then we have some accesses to the center with two elevators on the top to the whole complex, and some facilities in this area, which are including the sick bay, the game area, and a cafe to welcome the guests from the upper side. On the western part, you can see an arrow which is showing another access from the shell to the inside part. On the page number 21, there are some more pictures of the indoor amphitheater. On the right side, we have the view from the outside to the inside of amphitheater. The amphitheater has a unique design, which is rarely available in all the world. You can have the acoustic aligned with having the view to the inside of the amphitheater. On the next page, we have the last floor with a VIP lounge to welcome guests and special people that you need to accommodate for a special experience. And we have a cafe that serves to these people. On the last part, we can see two other shots of the game areas, the indoor and outdoor game areas. Thank you for listening to me. I'm done.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Just before they continue, I can see the expressions on the faces. Where is this? When you're driving out to Frigate Bay, as you look at the end of the aquifer under the hills, I think those of you who might know where Mr. Arnaldo Bailey lives, it's right under the hill. So you're driving out to Frigate Bay and you see all the green area where the cane fields used to be. There's a hill across that goes along the length of it. It goes right, it actually, that's why you see it's curved the way it's curved. It follows the hill. So you will have an access from, the top floor, you're gonna have access going around to Half Moon and come over the top, or you can drive up through the cane fields and access it as well. Go right ahead.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Is Abbas or Cyrus there wants to say anything?
Yes, yes, thank you. If you have, yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, we can hear you. Go right ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much for this such a nice event that the government planned it, and I am very pleased for this. And I'd like to give my special thanks to Honorable Samuel Daggins, that with the perfect presentation that he has. Actually, the project that we have, as Melika explained and presented, it's a national project. The national project that we need support by people and by the governments. As from the day that we are starting, we are planning, we are designing, we need your comments, we need what's in your mind, but whatever we reach to that, we saw the island needs a cultural center, as we are very familiar with the countries, with the islands for the last 15 years, that 100 times we travel there, and we look at the dance group that they do the performance in Port Zante or some public areas, and when we can see the music festival that they are performing in the sport clubs or some other public area, and even some such events, official events by government or even by private companies to invite the others to come to the island. We feel the island needs a center to cover this type of needs. But as I said, it's a national project, and we need protect and support by people, by a young generation, by families, by all of the people. From the day that we start, we need your comment. From the day that we have an inauguration and we are starting the constructions, we need the people to join us, because this project, it's created 1,000 job opportunity as well. And after completed the project, still we need your participate to be with us and to do the best performance in this center. And the project is not limited only to a cultural. As we talked before about that, we have a phase 2 of the project as a botanical park on front of that, as a sports area for walking area, bicycle rides, and it will continue. It's depend how we can go ahead together, and how we can support each other in this way. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and we are here to hear your comments, and we are here to make any edit and any change that people need more, because we have a space there. We can do whatever we need more for the young generation, for all people. Thank you so much for your time, and we are here to hear your questions and comments. Mr. Fahim will continue.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for the very nice event and gathering. Most of the items explained by Dr. Cyrus and Ms. Melika, I would like just to appreciate and say thanks to Honorable Dr. Samuel Daggins and Mr. Farhan Warrens and everybody who are in this meeting and in this gathering. We are pleased to listen to the comments from the parliament members, from the government, from the nationals, from the citizens, and this is the project is in the design stage of the conceptual design. Definitely, your comments will guide us how we go ahead to reach to the best design of this project. The project, really, I'm an engineer, and the location of this project is really unique. And due to the difference of the elevations between the road and the lower part of the area, that plain area, we have this opportunity to use this slope and to provide this very fantastic design, which probably you will hear about that in the very soon, even in the world, let's say, architectural awards in London, which I'm sure that Mr. Zomorodi can explain a little bit about that as well. By the way, we are here to listen, to answer the questions and get the comments, and to see how we can cooperate with each other to reach to the best design and something very, very attractive and an iconic project in Ireland. Thanks again for everybody, and we are here to listen from your side. Thank you.
It might be useful to state here that the land for the project is already owned by the developers, so they're not seeking land from government. They own the land, they bought the land privately, and are now looking to build this and essentially give it to the country. But there's nothing for free. Of course, if you understand how the Citizenship by Investment program works, they are given certain units that they allow them to sell to make their money, to make the money back. So it's a mutually beneficial arrangement that can be to the benefit of all parties. I also want to say that we're a little further than most people would think, because the initial design was completed, it was presented to Cabinet, it has been approved in principle, and quite rightly, to my mind, the Cabinet says we want the input of all the stakeholders, and that's why we are having this process right now. And that worked out beautifully, because the developers also wanted the input of the stakeholders, because their attitude is, this is not for us. We're not building this for us. We're building this for St. Kitts and Nevis, so it must reflect what the people of St. Kitts and Nevis want. And so with those few words, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. And I do believe we can applaud the design. It's really artistic. It's visionary, it's different. Upon the aesthetics, the look and feel of it, we can't feel it as yet, but I can feel it. You can feel it? It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's multi-purpose. It looks dynamic, and we welcome it. We welcome it. We welcome your comments as well, and we want to first appreciate the time taken out. I understand it's 3 a.m. where our developers are, so we really thank you for taking the time to be with us. We're going to enter a question and answer segment. I would ask, so
Good
we have
evening.
Ms. Carla Astafan on the floor.
Good evening, Carla Astafan, potter, poet, writer, all things.
Carla, excuse. So when you're speaking, if you can acknowledge who you are and who you represent, that will be very important to us.
I'm representing myself.
I mean, going forward.
Okay.
Yes. Just saying persons after you, because you did it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Like you said, it's a nice design, but what I am getting as I sit here, I don't like the boxiness of it. Okay? I see this curve, this S that's created in the facade of the building, okay? But then it looks like a lot of little apartments. So there's this boxiness. There's no continuing curve. You said it's on the hill. Yes, this is the S there. But then there's all these boxes. I don't like it. That's, you know, it just looks like a lot of little apartments on the hillside, okay? And I would like to see, you know, it's like the curve is just there, and then, yeah, so that's my input. Maybe the interior, I've seen some of the interior spaces, but I'd like to see a change in how it looks, how it presents on the hillside. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment, Carlo. And so Carla wants to see more curve. Carla is a curvy body lady, and so I appreciate that. But too linear, too boxy. Okay. So they're listening and they're taking notes.
Waves. I'm sorry, I'm thinking like, you know, if you're trying to capture the essence of who we are, one of the things that come to mind, of course, is the waves. Okay, so we have, you know, give us something wavy, you know, something, you know, these little boxes. It's not working for me at all.
All right, thank you, Ms. Astafan. Could I admonish us when we're speaking to stand, please, for more visibility? Remember, we're in the not just physical space, but virtual. So when you're speaking, if you can stand, thank you. Minister?
I want to thank our poet extraordinaire for that input. But I think part of what wasn't presented here, that was in the document, was the ideas of what led to the conceptual drawing. And that boxy feel that you're talking about is actually to depict a honeycomb type feel. And if you had seen the document, you would understand. So there's a lot of nature and art that went into the design, and it kind of gives this honeycomb feel. But obviously, so the whole idea was to get that feel of a honeycomb.
Remember, he said we are in the design. They specifically said that changes can be made. We are in the design phase still, so our comments can be taken on board. Somebody can go back to the drawing board and see how they can recreate, you know, come up with something different. It's not etched in stone.
Correct.
Correct. Ms. Isaac?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am Keisha Isaac Adams, Creative Director for New Age Productions, Drama. Yes, so my comment tonight is more towards the functionality of the spaces more than the aesthetics. For example, I'm concerned with the outdoor amphitheater spaces that seems to be completely uncovered. I mean, one of our major issues is being in spaces that are uncovered, considering that on the island we get a lot of rain. At times, especially during festival and queen shows and everything, rain just like to fall when we have outdoor events. So I have a concern about that, as well as there are a lot of like shop spaces, a lot of restaurant spaces, and even though you have galleries, you're not hearing too much about like the spaces for visual artists to practice their craft, or recording studios and stuff like that. Like, I don't feel like all of the spaces cater to the vast needs of the creatives, because we have a lot of different needs, and just having performance spaces isn't actually adequate to the needs, because the performance spaces are basically like the end product. The galleries are the end product, but we need spaces to get to the end product. So if some of these spaces can be converted to process rooms, whatever that process might be for the different areas, that would be good. That's my 2 cents, yes.
Thank you for that comment, and I do agree. I saw some classes. I think, well, I interpret classes to be studios. I don't think, I know we have schools, so I don't necessarily see classes, but even if we have classes, I do agree with Keisha in that We can have studios, we can have workshops for sculpting, studios for music, studios for photography, studios, just studios, dance studios, studios for all the parts of the arts, basically.
I think, Fahim, is that you're trying to say something? Fahim?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, actually, we had two actually questions. Am I right? One was regarding the boxes, which and the exterior design, which I'm sure that not only as Dr. Douglas said, this is a feeling of the honeycomb, but we are in the stage of the conceptual design. We have so many other issues will be involved, specifically for the lighting, and the whole project at the final design, we will consider comments of the lady who had these comments, and I can ask Mr. Zomurudi also to provide us, or Ms. Melika, some more information about what was encouraged us. We go towards this design, and what are the advantages of this. Of course, we are here to listen and to think about the comments, and definitely we will consider these comments in our next, let's say, edition. But if possible, Mr. Zomorudi, you or Ms. Melika, you provide us with more details. They are from the design, our design team.
Yeah, as in, excuse me, but as Mr. Fahim said about the facade and the design as in a box shape, the final touch can be considered this comment, but functionally for the studio of as a recording, you see when we have an amphitheater, the amphitheater has at least 10 rooms background for all facilities that they need. It has a studio, it has a recording system, but this will come in a detailed engineering and detail. The first phase that we explained for each room what functional it has. And as Melika said in her presentation, we have a game room, different game rooms we have in all levels. The game rooms, it can be a dance room, the dance training center, music training center, and all of that, it's for cultural and art purpose. But we call it game rooms, but it can use for any type of the cultural need that we have.
Now, may I ask Ms. Melika or Mr. Zomurudi to provide us with a little bit more elaborate this issue?
Hello to all, if I can. Hello. Okay. Say hi to all. It's my pleasure to be in this meeting. Actually, about the project, I have to say something. Our project actually doesn't have any facade. Okay. The project is designed as a section to the life, as a section to the life with the boxes. You talk about the boxes. The boxes is 5 meters in 5 meters dimensions. Okay, it's not a small boxes. It's a huge boxes. You have good views when you are using inside the project. And about the second question, actually, we have many places to get time to show artists their projects, and also we have a gallery, a bookshop and bookstore, a gallery with them. Together we have 3 cinema on that project. And I have to tell you, we are in phase 0 of the design the project. Okay, in the next step, we will redesign plans with anything the government and people need to have on this project.
Cadence
That's
Art
it.
Center is located on St. Kitts and
You can go ahead.
It's okay. Melika, I think explained about the question.
Of course, thank you. To add some points, as you said already, 24, the boxes are the minimum dimension of 5 meters to 5 meters, and in some parts, this is 10 meters or even 15 meters. And these boxes are not only the different space, but also the structure for the big shell. As you have a huge curvy space that is structure and a building, especially built in large curvy stone, is really unique to all of them. And these structures and boxes are needed to support the stone. And so,
Sorry, Melika, excuse me. Can you, if you can remove the AirPods, that would be better for us to more audible. Can you please remove?
You
We're
were
not
much
hearing you
clearer
clearly
before.
with the
I
earbuds.
don't think that it will.
Thank you. That's a lot better. Thanks.
Is it better now?
Yes, wonderful.
Thank you. Were you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So I was telling you about the boxes, which are not only the formal, which they don't have only a formal aim, but also they're acting as a structure. And we have this shell as a wave and as the nature, and it's integrated with the greenery on the top of it and some water ponds on it. And we have the boxes under the shell to support, to consider the areas for different activities, and to picture a frame like a college art of different activities in all parts, like a freezed frame of a camera. And it has a character by using the different parts by people. When people are using these areas, the whole complex has the meaning. And for the second question, as the outdoor amphitheater and the rain problem, we have 2 large performance areas. We have one, the indoor amphitheater, and the outdoor one. The outdoor music halls and amphitheaters in all over the world are open from the upper side, and they're open to the sky. But in this area, as we have the rain, as you mentioned, we have a shell, and the audience is protected from the rain, and we collect the rain before it gets into the area, and we use the collected rain for different purposes in the complex, as we have some water problems, and we solve these water problems in our platform. So there won't be any anxiety about this matter. And the third question was answered completely by Mr. Zamorodi, and I think it was great. Thank you.
Thank you, Malika. Any further? Yes, we have two on the floor. We take Jonathan and then Darian, or Darian and then Jonathan. What's the order?
Good night, everyone. Darian Fleming, sole practitioner at DJCF Architecture. I think I might be the only architect in the room, so I hope my questions are well received. As an architect, the design looks fantastic. It tickles the visual appetite, and I think that's what anything that is creative should do. So I think thumbs up there. Of course, as you know, as you move forward with the design, there are certain practicalities that we have to sort of assess. So I was happy to hear the question that was asked about the boxiness. I would have also had that question to ask. What I'm also very curious about is the exact site location. I sort of missed the exact location. Could someone share? Could you reiterate that for me, please? Okay, all right, okay. So it's in the valley, in the hill. Okay, all right. So what I'm mindful of is the direction that the site faces. If it's that hillside, most likely faces to the west-southwest, right? So that sort of, it means that this site is going to be exposed to the sun, and there's not really great opportunities for natural ventilation there, right, based on the direction that the wind generally blows. So one of the things that I would question is what type of strategies did the designers or architects use to sort of address the need for natural ventilation given where we live, given the energy costs that keep on rising. And if none have been employed as yet, seeing that they're still in the conceptual phase, that would be one of the most critical areas to pay attention to. I heard an explanation of the structure of the boxes. The measurements are, they said 5 meters by 5 meters, which that's about 15 feet by 15 feet in a square. So I'd be interested to see how the spaces within are sort of in the background of that fabric or network on the facade is connected on the interior. I took a peep at the floor plans that they shared. I know there's some sort of structural grid that would have to be adhered to, but I would love to see more details. And if there's an opportunity to assist or render some sort of guidance, I'm more than willing to be a part of the activity, given that I represent a part of the creative economy as well.
You most certainly do. Thank you. We would like to play the video now to sort of answer Darian's question. There was also a concern about it being protected areas online. The location.
Cadence Art Center is located on St. Kitts and Nevis. Officially, the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis is an island country and microstate consisting of 2 islands of St. Kitts and Nevis with roughly 47,606 inhabitants. It is the smallest sovereign state in the Western Hemisphere in both area and population, as well as the world's smallest sovereign federation. The capital city is Basseterre, located on the larger island of St. Kitts. Basseterre is also the main port for passenger entry and cargo. Both islands are of volcanic nature. St. Kitts and Nevis is famous for its beautiful nature, white and black sand beaches, Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and music festivals that are being held in the Warner Park Stadium. People's cultures are intertwined with music, colors, and dancing. The city fabric of St. Kitts and Nevis is denser around the island's entry, known as the port zone, and will fade like a natural gradient. We discover a dearth of cultural, recreational, and commercial amenities through welfare investigations of various facilities such as leisure spaces, stores, cinemas, galleries, libraries, transportation, and institutional places, which can be the cause for the lack of interest of people to become a permanent resident of the country. Taking into account the government's intention of attracting more tourists, we opted to offer a landmark rather than a hotel, which is a cultural and recreational complex with a concentration on an outdoor music hall. Creating a center to convert vacant units into more practical spaces in order to improve the quality of life for inhabitants would also lead to the increase of emigration and travel to the destination. The position of the property is on a 21-meter high hill between two roadways. For each part, the appropriate dimensions that met the needs of people were evaluated. We deemed this landmark to be an eco-friendly building with the least amount of excavation. As a result, we divided sections into smaller ones to align the existing slope and blend diverse areas into a harmonious complex. In order to protect the audience from weather changes, despite all the outdoor music halls, we decided to open a side and have a shell as a roof. Between this shell, some portions of the complex were accommodated. It also created the possibility to walk on the surface and see the city and port zone from the center and vice versa. The shape of this shell was inspired by the natural form of a wave. In the surrounding waterways, a metaphorical perception of a land vanishes in nature. As a representation of Basse-Terre, the grid was chosen to form sections such as the city amid nature. It is a stable form made up of surfaces that also serve as the structure. These surfaces are arranged like ants' nests, including many entrances to natural paths and open-ups. For designing the facade, instead of routine techniques, we decided to design a section instead of a facade, like a collage of different spaces and a frozen frame captured of human activities. In other words, we created a scenario for a facade that can be viewed from afar by those entering the city or yacht owners watching the city's dynamic scene. We see this as an opportunity to conserve water for landscaping and performance, due to frequent rainfall. We reuse the water in the complex by utilizing absorbent tiles, leading drainages, water tanks and purification system. Regarding the landscape design, we extended the greenery on the shell to have an integrated nature-friendly building in line with our architectural elements and rules. Finally, we converted the physical and material originality of existing colors in the city into the project as lighting. These surfaces are not part of a cube. All these lines originate from the hypothetical circle center, which is surrounded by the site. The length, height, and width of these surfaces are about 5 meters. With combining, adding, and subtracting these surfaces, we created bridges, cantilevers, voids, and stairs. Moreover, by compositing these elements, different puzzles were made. Voids have an essential rule in our scenario. By twisting the void in different levels, we make multiple experimental views for users in different levels, like a maze in multiple levels, covering each other in height. This project has cultural, leisure, commercial, and administrative usages. The main areas in the project include the entrances and halls, amphitheater, cinema, food court, games, fancy restaurant, stores, cafe, gallery, bar, library, facilities, offices, and open spaces and terraces. On one hand, the objective of the design was to have the least excavation. On the other hand, considering the modular design of the complex, each level is one module extended from the lower level. For accessing all levels, we have some exceptions in excavating as corridors and the land rocks. Also in some other parts, we took advantage of the natural material of rocks as the focal point ending the space. The most specified vertical gap as an important entrance and hall is only connected to the second floor with a bridge. Moreover, by redefining the definite border of areas, we design sharing spaces that integrate all parts like the lobby in common between the cinema and amphitheater. Paths like maze ending to spreader joints or dead-end spots. Voids that cover each other, glass floors, large-scaled stairs used for gathering, and dead ends complete the ant nest conceptual scenario. Large-scaled terraces are designed to enjoy the moderate weather in St. Kitts and benefit from the view of the city and sea. From the upper road, there are some entrances to the project. These entrances include one to the inner part of the project, the entrance to the outdoor music hall, and a path toward the top on the surface, fading into the two lands on the sides of the project. Eventually, all these scenarios are trying to enhance the quality of living for people by designing
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Darian. That was the end? That was the end. We'll take Jonathan's question now, please, and then anybody else after that. Thank you.
Testing. Okay. Good night, everybody. I am Jonathan, representing Jabat Productions. I'm a multimedia specialist. I ain't gonna say photographer, but you know, yeah. Just a question, whoever wants to answer it. What's the holding capacity for patrons for the indoor hall? That's just one question.
I think she said 500 to 600.
500 to 600.
Yeah,
Petitions?
basically. Well, if you're on the island at the time,
Okay.
at that current event, I would assume.
Okay. The second question, I think I forget it in Nigerian, but I think that was the only one. But I think it was following from the last question. Would that be able to replace the current facilities for Carnival Village? The outdoor one. Okay, cool. All right. And they said they got a little. Okay, cool. Too easy. I think that's it. Bless up, everybody.
If I may, Jonathan, I feel you on the 500. I think it could be up to 1,000. Why I say this, currently we have ECCB as our main inside auditorium theater space, although it wasn't built for that. And thank you, and Antioch Baptist Church. I think that's the present capacity of it, and in recent developments of events, I know we have been clocking, well, in the dance world, at least 800 at minimum for an audience. But that's outdoors. If we are going inside, which we have been begging, I think it should be no less than that. I would pitch for 1,000. We entertain any further comments? Gian. No, you're good.
Good afternoon. I'm Gian Williams-Knight, here in my capacity as a poet, I guess. I think the design, first of all, is very impressive. The size might be a bit overwhelming for us because of what we're used to. But I think if we funnel a lot of activity over there, we could really fill this space easily. What I would like to see, I also share Kala's, you're not alone, about the boxy. I'm not a fan of the boxy modern style, but I mean, I'm a sucker for a story, so that works as well. One of the things I would like to see, somewhere in there, I think there should be like a very big blank wall where we're able to place pictures and plaques of people from the arts who call it like a wall of honor. Oftentimes we do things and we have these people who we honor and everybody thinks, oh, this person should be a national hero, but really and truly it's because we don't honor them in any other way. So I think having a space where we could look and see all these people who've made valiant contributions towards the creative arts, they could be honored. I share Marcia's view. That was one of the things that I had. I think we should have a space that could fit 1,000 people comfortably, even if it's a situation where we use partitions and the space is 500 today, but for a bigger space it becomes 1,000. We need that sort of convertible space. I also think we should incorporate spaces for the culinary arts, for us to be able to do cooking classes, teach people the culture that way. Our culture is getting lost, especially in the food. So I think incorporating the culinary arts, I don't know what considerations that would bring about, but that's something that we need. We also need small, intimate spaces for performances. I'm thinking back to Island Expression days where we had a small stage, but it was still, the room was big without feeling, lost or vast, but intimate performances. And I know we mentioned ECCB and Antioch as spaces, but persons may have visions and plans that may not be appropriate for those spaces. So I think it's important that we also incorporate those small performance spaces as well. Stage, backstage, dressing, all of these things, sound booth, engineering booth, and so on. But generally, I'm happy we're here. I'm happy we don't, I hope we don't have to come back to see something other than something we could touch and feel and stand in and perform in. So I think that was more of what I said. I think they mentioned the cinema as well. I guess. But I mean, our film, we're getting people in film and screenings and these things would be good. But I just want us to be able to identify multiple spaces in the structure that people can choose from based on what they're doing and not just be limited to a 600 space indoor amphitheater or a 10,000 space outside amphitheater. So that's my contribution.
Duly noted. We take a comment from Carla while she gets the mic. I do agree with you, Gian, because one of my visions, because there are multiple, you travel and you see spaces, you've been in spaces, you dream up spaces. There is need for simultaneous, not just classes. Why do I have to wait on this class to finish to use this space? So you can have simultaneous shows. You can have a musical happening for the 1,000-seater, and then you have a Island Expression vibes in the next thing, all at the same time, because we have multiple taste buds, interests, people. We are cultural, we are versatile. And one of the things he said, one of the developers, he said, the rooms are multifaceted, they can be interchanged to what we wanted. But some rooms, we know, of course, have to be set. Carla?
Thank
like
you.
Like the dance studios that need specific flooring.
Thank you. There was a gentleman who spoke. I don't know if he was the architect, but he said that there was no facade really in the conceiving the building. However, when you just showed the video a while ago, I didn't see it earlier, so I was happy to see that what I mentioned about the wave, that that was taken into consideration. As I looked at that video, though, something that jumped out at me was the ant nest, okay? The sort of intricacy of the ant nest. I know they went with the boxiness, but I don't know if somehow, I really hope they will. They sounded, a lot of the comments I heard coming from the developers and the designers there, sounded like they may not, they almost like, They don't want to go back. They're defending the boxiness. I'm saying I would like for them to really take into consideration some of the things that really will, because this is a project with a lot of longevity. Okay, so we would really like to see a lot of creativity in it. So the ants nest, the waves, the honeycomb, like you said, but the ants nest really jumped out at me, the sort of, intricacies of it. And yes, so everybody else. So I just wanted to share that again. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo.
Good evening. Liska Bass, visual artist representing lbass.art studio. Lovely design, amazing shopping mall. It looks like a shopping mall. I love the design, but looking at your floor plan, floor by floor by floor, I'm seeing shopping, restaurant, bar, movie theater, cinema, amphitheater. I love a good amphitheater. The acoustics in an amphitheater is to die for. Once again, it's not supposed to be a creative art center. Where is your whole set for indoor drawing classes? Where's your wet space for ceramics? What about the kiln that we keep asking for on the island for years because the one at Craft House still not working? I didn't see a room for that. Yes. But bigger work need bigger kiln. But it comes back to, I love this design. It's an amazing design. It goes with the undulation of the hill. I love it. I love the outdoor amphitheater. I do agree that we need more seating for indoor, because when you get them high schools together, that's 20,000 children in one space. We need chairs for everyone, and we're not sitting on the floor like some schools. But yes, where's the space for the visual artists? Every time I've come to one of these meetings, there's allocation for dance, there's allocation for theater, there's allocation for music. There's nothing for me. Maybe I might get to paint the picture of the person on the wall for the memorial, but where am I going to work? Where am I going to teach? I love the gallery. We need a gallery. But that's as far as it goes for the visual art. It's a shopping mall.
Just to put some perspective on some of this, we have to, I think one of the things we need to recognize is that center must pay for itself. In other words, it must be self-sustainable. It's not going down as a government building and government takes care of it. That's why you have those shops, you have those restaurants, as the income side to maintain it and make sure it lasts for a long time. In terms of the actual usage of the space, I take your point. We can always figure that out. We can always heard about the culinary arts and stuff. That part, yes, because that's interior space. We can adjust that. And I'm happy to see you standing up for your space, because that's how you get it, by standing up for it. But I just want to put some context to the commercial areas. That's how you keep your center clean, in good repair, and around for a long time.
Hi, good night. Carisia Willett. When I think of a creative art center, one of the things that come to mind is a home for carnival. Now, Farron spoke about...
Could you come, to the center or away so the camera can... Thank you. We have virtual audience.
Now, Farron spoke about the center making money for itself. One of the biggest revenue we have here is carnival. We look at, you're saying that there is 500 to 600 people that can sit inside, etc. We're looking at talented teen last year that had over 3,000 people. Now, everybody knows the condition of Carnival City. There's no surprise in how Carnival City looks over the years, rain, weather, bam. So when we look at creative arts, we say, finally something for Carnival, somewhere that we could go, you know, we can get wet during a show, blah, blah, blah. But listen to what you're saying now. Would there be provision made for a space that we could actually put different shows and sign for Carnival? Because it's been a cry for a very, very, very long time. A lot of money is being spent on Carnival. Sometimes you see donations going, and a lot of the donations that are given for Carnival goes back into production. So if we have a space, we are okay then. Everything already set up. We don't have to pay this for stage, this for this, this for that. We can now make money and actually give back to the creatives. Because I know sometimes for me, when you, in my field, you spend a little $1,000 to $3,000 actually producing the song. If we have a production center inside the creative center, then we say, okay then, we cut that cost in half. And then the money that's being donated towards the Carnival events can now go back into the creatives, and we could now spend money in the creative center. So one of the main things is making sure that there is a home for Carnival, because as we could say, Carnival does produce a lot of money. People like Carnival, they love it. So there must be a space in there for Carnival. The same way there must be a space in there for culture. As we look that the culture here is dying, whether we want to believe it or not. The creative economy, of course, does a lovely job teaching the students and so forth, but it needs to be more. It needs to be a showcase. We need to be able to walk in and say, okay then, wow, okay, cool, this is ours. There must be a space. This space must be ours. I understand what Farron is saying. I understand that it needs to generate money, but it also needs to be a space that feels like ours. Liska spoke about something that I was feeling, that this is not a creative space. It more feel, you know, like a mall. I would love to see more of us being incorporated in it. Of course, visualize everything. Just like when you walk into it, you're supposed to say, I know what this be. I'm not walking and be like, okay, I know what it's supposed to be. That's just my little 2 pence.
Thank you, Carissa.
Let me just respond by saying that when we started out this, I think, if I remember correctly, the outside amphitheater the capacity was like 2,000. And I think it was Minister Maynard, Congress Maynard, made the input exactly what you said in relation to being able to accommodate Carnival Music Festival. And then we start looking at anywhere around 6,000 to 7,000, which is on the board right now, which is what we're looking at. 10? Yeah, in fact, it might have been that. To pull back some spaces and make the outside bigger to have those big events. So that is being considered as well. That's part of the mix that we're looking at.
Okay, so one of the main issues we have during Carnival is rain.
Okay, we just spoke about that in terms of...
So you're talking about the outside space and how much people can fit in the outside space. What difference would it be from keeping it in the park?
We had, I think, one of the designers indicated it's going to be a kind of roof that the rain don't get down to you. Instead, the water is harvested from what they have there. So I think they spoke to that. So.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry, me one more time.
Go ahead.
Our next question. After the presentation with the video and stuff like that, and being able to see the exact site location, it is very expansive. I was curious as to whether or not the architects had mentioned what the total estimated square footage for the footprint of the building was going to end up being. It was in the presentation, and it's in square meters, 20-something thousand square meters. 23,000. Okay, that's over. Okay, it's over 100,000 square feet. Okay, I'm trying to measure it up in scale against the Marriott. That's what I'm using as my metric. And if I think about the site area, it's probably the same breadth as Marriott, almost somewhere in that vicinity. So. Two things come to mind. One is the site location in relation to the rest of Bastille and how the architects go about creating an environment that is outside of town and addressing issues like transportation, what happens during post events, where do people park, pardon? Parking for what? For 200 people? Right. So what comes to my mind is I think about a parking lot like at Hosford's Value Mart, right? Where you have persons at work, and I think about the scale of that. That's the parking area over there on the right-hand side. The architects are still with us? Yeah.
I think they may have slipped out, but Mr. Lawrence, if you could.
Okay. So I'm just mindful of, because what is being created is a hub, right? It's a self-sustaining hub where you go and you're supposed to be able to go there in the morning and potentially be there all day, right? So of course, that's where the opportunity for the restaurants and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure they probably have some sort of office spaces for rent and so on as well. I don't think I heard that mentioned. I might have missed that. So that is excellent. The scale of it just has me kind of like, whoa. That's what the issue is for me. It's the scale. Even when you look at it from the perspective views right down along the road, it feels like this, when it kind of almost feels like it should be like back against there, like, for example, when you approach the Marriott, you drive up a ramp and then you're under a canopy, so you never actually feel the whole height of the tallest part of it. So I think that's one of the areas that they could probably work on, which I already know creates an issue as far as addressing the exposure to the sun, because if you terrace back, it means that your outdoor spaces are exposed to the sun. So it's a very complex problem to solve given the site location. It honestly is. And I guess they stepped out, but still having that question about natural ventilation, because if the building is over 100 feet deep, which it looks like it might be based on the modules, it means that maybe what they can consider is, as they terrace, they also create some sort of path or river in between to create some sort of tunneling effect, similar to how the Marriott is designed, where you have this large sort of spine running down the middle of the building, and that offers the opportunity for natural ventilation. So that's something they should consider as well.
One of the things to be taken into consideration, the topography of the land, even with 7 levels, there's only 2 above the road.
Yeah.
Because the drop is like
It's a 21 meters, which is 100 feet.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So that impacts the design, of course. And you hear them speak about minimum excavation.
Yeah.
The idea is to use the natural topography as much as possible,
Okay.
incorporate into the design.
Thank you. We take after the minister, we take the gentleman in the yellow, and then my friend here in the green cap, and I think Jonathan and Gian, minister.
For Darian, you asked a question about access with traffic. The building is designed in such that you could actually access it from the top, from Half Moon. So coming around from Half Moon, you could get to the top. And then there'll be a road from the Frigate Bay Road, just coming off from Central Bank, coming around there, that accesses it from the bottom up. And so you'll have two different access points, which would ease traffic in that regard.
Okay, good night, everybody. Milano, welcome from Milano's Art Studio. Quick question on a topic that Bass already introduced about the art and visual artists as well. I heard that you are proposing to have the cafes and the malls and what's not, but having to deal with the visual artists as well in proposing to make money and funding for the creative economy to give back to the building. I propose that there's a studio part where we can actually use to generate our own paint, teach people how to make paint here, make our own canvases, create different things that we can actually sell and export to other islands. This is a way of creating income for us and also how to sustain ourselves. So I think that's a good room that can be probably implicated into the design.
I think I'm hearing you say you want to rent a space.
Well, that can be possible.
No, but that's income generating, because if you have studios, then persons can rent the spaces to do their work instead of having. So I think I'm hearing a salient cry more work for the creatives as opposed to more on the recreational, commercial end. It still generates the same income while accomplishing our purpose.
But having to rent the studio to artists, right? That is also minimum, but still, having us create our own products here, instead of having to source them from overseas, we can keep the money here in the Federation while providing jobs for our people, because having to import people from overseas to do our work, it takes away from the economy. So having to create jobs here to sustain our people and still being able to create our own products here to export to other islands brings in a lot more income for us. So, thank you.
I see we have Cyrus and Fahim back with us. Is there anything you guys want to add at this point?
Sure. Yeah. Actually, regarding the access, according to our design, we will have finally 3 access. One actually from east, one from west, and one from Half Moon Bay. Of course, these 2 access, east and west, in the expansion of this project in the future, that will be very useful not only for the access, but it will be as a cover to the botanic garden in the future as well. And regarding the size of the the built-up area will be almost 330,000 square feet or 2,000 square meter. And regarding the allocations, we should consider that these allocations of the spaces will be at this is in reality in the phase, conceptual design phase. We are taking note notes of the comments. We will consider at the end of the day, our initial thought was we design something to be a little bit, to attract the people to come in and stay for hours there, even not in addition to the occasions of the concerts and music festivals, but in addition to that, to come and to enjoy and to take time, some attractions for the tourists to come to the area, for the locals, and we will consider definitely some areas for the classes, something like an art academy, where they can. It will be in reality multi-function for the singing, for the dancing, for the music, different for the visual art, for many of them. That's why we are gathered together to listen from your side and consider it in our next phase of the design. Yeah, regarding the outdoor, in our initial design, we considered almost more than 3,000 people can be accommodated for the outdoor section, and it is only in the covered part of the, outdoor music hall. And for the indoor, the reason why we decided to be around 600, of course, this is preliminary design. As I told you, we can expand it. It is in 3 levels, and we can consider, if necessary, to increase it even to reach to 1,000, and that can be done easily because we have almost access to the whole area. We can delete some other non-necessary or some areas which are not, for example, maybe library is not so interested. We can reduce from that spaces and we can add to the space of the indoor amphitheater section. I took some notes from the different. Yeah, for the outdoor sections, actually the roof designed to be in such a way that the people, they can come to the roof, they can use that area and for the different types of the usages. But anyhow, we will take note, and I think Mr. Zomorodi, if you have some more, you can add on top of this explanation which I gave. Please join and tell us what do you think about that as the main designer. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, of course. Actually, yes, we are in the start of the way on the design, and we will change. We have to have some change in the design with comment of people, and of course with comment of government, and also maybe some consultant in the St. Kitts. About the MEP and about the ventilation, we already think about the ventilation. We want to save the energy, and we want to design the project as a project between indoor and outdoor project. It's not a completely indoor project with indoor areas. It's not completely that. Is some areas designed exactly as outdoor areas, and some areas like as a cinema, is the indoor areas. But our MEP team want to design a system like as a airbrush system. I don't know, as an airbrush system to can have a fresh air more than AC systems. Okay, we want to use fresh air, because I know in your country you have between 20 to 23 degrees, and you have many rainy days. So about the degree, we don't have a problem, I think. But my MEP team are in a design process. And only we want to care about rain, not about the degree. Okay, that is about the ventilation system. Is a question about the ventilation system. And about the parking, someone asked about the parking. Actually, now we have more than 250 parking, but I told you we are in initial design process, and we will make many change in the design after your comments, of course. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments. We'll have my friend here in the lovely green hat, and then I think I saw Jonathan and Gian. There's also a question online, I think. So in that order, thank you.
Hi, good night. DeAndre Herbert. My question goes out in this. When I first heard of it, in terms of being a creative center, I thought it was a place that, you can actually go out and create and basically start with nothing, and by the end of the day, have something, have a product, have something that you actually got fulfilled. So my question is, it looks great. It has all the cool stuff, gaming, cafe, a lot of things that would require me to spend money because it has to be sustained. But for those upcoming visual artists and musicians and cinematographers and videographers and just the full spectrum of creativity, for those who might not have already been established, I thought it would have been an area where, let's say, I do not have Wi-Fi at home, but I have a passion to get into graphic design or something like that, that should be able to go to this creative center, maybe spend a small fee to be maybe in front of a computer that has the software already in it, the Photoshops, the illustrators, whatever, and be able to create my projects that I had in mind. If I wanted to shoot music videos, I do not have the right equipment, anything like that. I thought it would be an area where they might have a large square footage of space that is a prop room that has, certain green screens, certain staircases, all kind of different props you could utilize in your videos. And like I said, just be able to be an entire hub that you could go and create and be able to, maybe cycle out through certain schedules. And this week, we might have Jonathan in giving consultation for photography, Jadian in for giving consultation for videography, things of that nature that really more kind of inspires the youth to want to come there, because from a standpoint, it just seems like a cool place to hang out. And if you kind of, if you already have some progress going in life, then, you could really go up there and utilize it to provide a much more flashier platform. But in terms of starting, from the ground, from concrete, from not having anything, I thought it would have been a place where you could really go and get those resources provided to you, maybe at a feasible rate for a local, or there be some type of program, maybe something connected with your education system for those who have a passion or desire in that field. Let's say they make the honor roll, then during the summer, the government grants you know, it covers. And no, it's private, like he explained, it has to be sustained and everything like that. But for it to be sustained, people would have to generate money to then, you know, patronize what's happening up there so it can be sustained. But for those and most creatives who struggle in that aspect in terms of, you know, as people said, the dance paying for the lights. A lot of us struggle with that on a day-to-day, especially starting in the industry. The industry is very saturated. Some persons were blessed to be able to, you know, have a start out with a good network or get a good footing in. But like those who really do not have it all together, I thought it would be in a place where, you know, you can go. I'm not sure what I want to do, but there's the consultation room here. I could go here by the prop area. There is the manager of the cameras over here that I could go and pay, I don't know, $50 for an hour, and he allows me with supervision to manage the camera and film a quick scene. I could go pay another 24-hour on the computer here that is powerful enough to run and render these projects. And by the time I leave the creative economy, I must say the creative center, you know, I've left with a solid package. And if it puts me ahead of the game, I'm able to say, thank God for the creative center, because without it, I wouldn't have had this chance to be able to create this masterpiece that I did. That's really what I wanted to figure out, like, instance.
I want to say thank you for that. But I want to also say, you saying that you thought it would have been. I think what is being communicated here is that it is that. And I think maybe that somehow seemed to have been missed. Outside of the commercial spaces, there are spaces for us to design whatever we want. You want it to be a video studio, you want it to be an art studio, you want it to be a dance studio. There are these spaces there. What Farron was alluding to is that in addition to these spaces, there must be a commercial aspect to keep the building going. They weren't mutually exclusive. It wasn't saying it's just commercial. It's saying you have your art studio, you have your dance studio, you have whatever you want it to be, because these are spaces. Recording studio, movie studio, visual arts, everything. But along with that, you'll have your food court. You'll have your restaurants and you'll have your bars that keep you there all day. It's really a creative mall. You come, you practice. You come, if you don't want to practice, you could sit at a bar. If you don't have anything to do, you watch a movie. It's really a creative mall, everything from the ground up. So it's not that you thought it would have been, it actually is. Yeah.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. We have some question about the Art Center. I have to say something. When in this project, we talk about the shopping mall, we don't talk about the shopping mall for sale, some brands like as a Zara and the other. We talk about the shopping mall to sell handcraft, to sell arts, because here we have an art center. We design an art center. We don't design the mall. We can sell on their handcraft, and we can have some laboratory for students, some class for students, for teach art, for teach music, for teach painting, and the other thing. Okay, we don't talk about the normal shopping mall like as a Dubai. Okay, we talk about to sell a handcraft that designed with local people. Because I saw your people is very good to use the color to design some objects with color, to design some colorful clothes. Okay, so we talk about shopping mall to sell some handcraft, not a Zara brand or Nike brand or the other one. I don't know. Okay, and Of course, I am a architect. I am an artist. So we know about all artists' problems. So we design an art center. We don't design an normal commercial building. Okay, this is an art center for artists. Of course, it's for artists, and it will detailed design have a detailed design for artists and any areas they need. Of course, it's that way we want to go. Okay.
Okay. Thanks for
Can,
the
can
clarification.
can I have some explanation here?
Sure.
Yeah. I believe if he knows what's the purpose of this investment, this one is a public good investment. If in the category of this investment, it's not a private section. This one, it's going to a category of public good investment. It means, and if we're talking about the shops, we don't have shopping mall there. We have some shops, and it is only 5% of the building. It means from 32,000 square meter, only less than 2,000 square meter is some shops, small shops for handmade things and art subjects to sell. We don't have, because this creative center, after completion, it's donated to the government, to the public. And the government has a policy how to manage it, how to rent it, how to let the public to use it, the school use it free or with charge. All of this, it's by government. When completed the project, we as a developer, we don't have any access to manage it, and it is the work of the government with their policy to manage it. But it is no shop there. Only 5% of this building is some small shops for handmade art, and this is the things that I'd like to explain. This is a public good investment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fahim. I think that's it. Almost, sorry. I was actually getting to that. I think what we are hearing or envisioning is a shell, and not shell in a mega sense, but like a skeleton, and then we are the ones with further consultation. We have a little more target group for specifications as to know what is going to be in this, okay, to use the example of the mall, not to belabor the point, we can have a shop with Carla selling her sculpture, then we have pottery, her fireflies have a dance shop with dance clothes, and we have musical instruments in the other shop, and then Liska selling her painting in the other shop. So it's a shop for us, it's not, as he said. But further consultation, of course, with target groups to know what is being, to make it more functional. So it's not set by them. Am I right, Mr. Minister? Okay, we're on the same path. I would entertain Mr. Nathaniel. I think we had Gian and Jonathan. You're going to do the one online? Yeah. Style joke? No? Okay. There's one online. Go ahead, Jonathan, and then Gian, and then Mr. Kamal.
Yes, So I don't want to get too much into it. I had written down some notes and stuff, but I think a lot of people had touched on what I wanted to talk about, so I'm not going to dive too much into it. But the first thing, Mr. Minister, right? I like how we're talking about having these lot of crafts and stuff like that, having a shop that encompasses all these nice things, right? Because, for example, I was trying to get a chef hat the other day, and I was like, where you get a chef hat in St. Kitts? Where all these chefs getting their hat, right? Like, I don't know where to get these things. So I feel like that little shopping mall thingy should
be able to facilitate them kind of requests there, especially, right? And the little dancing tutus and whatever it is, right? But how is it that we're going to do all these things? We're making great local products I could see compete with those on the global market, and we export charges them sky high. Yeah. I try export something no larger than my bracelet the other day, and UPS charged me like $90. So like we got yeah. Rate it
Well,
down
I would
there.
love to answer that question, but I think that's a different question for a different forum.
Yeah, no problem. I got you. Just putting it out
Yes.
there, right? And then I forgot myself in the beginning. I all the space is there, and I get that it's completely like transformative because it's like Lego blocks, right? As far as I see, right? I didn't observe any space for like photography and videography because there's like, okay, there's a conference space, there's a hall and what's not, but there isn't like a empty space, right, for anything to happen. You see what I'm saying? So a blank canvas. So when I get certain jobs, people would tell me, oh, boy, we got a room for you to use, and it's a 2x0. If it's a long room or a wide room, the roof like maybe 8 feet tall. JDN could touch the roof, right? But that's not, that's not workable for people like us because we need roof height and we need to go over people and take shots and stuff like that. And it could probably get to the point where we amass so much equipment, other countries looking to us now to come and use our space because I don't even think there's a space like that in the Caribbean. And seeing I think it's like a hub now, right? The CBI is a thing, tourist hot, wherever it is. We need to be ready for when these people come, and this thing is also a tourist destination. You see what I'm saying? Okay, why I got all this here, I'm going to try to run through them quick. Okay, the next thing is the sick bay. That was on the top floor? It was on the top floor? Are you asking? Anybody remember?
I'm not sure which floor, but I'm foreseeing there may be more than one sick bay.
There's more than one?
Several floors.
I think I see it on like one of them high floors. There's several of them. Okay, cool. So one on each floor.
Hold on, Jonathan. Melika?
Yes, it is in the 5th floor with an access to the upper road without any elevator or stairs. Direct access to the main street.
You said without? She said without.
Without?
Without any stairs or elevators. I mean, there is a direct access from the upper road to the sick bay area.
So if I got asthma attack on the bottom floor, what going on? How to reach to the 5th floor? The elevator.
There is an access from the 5th floor to the upper road. Okay? From the upper road, the 5th floor will be the ground floor.
Oh, so we're going up and come down.
Excuse me, we have 2 options. We received these comments regarding the sick bay, and we have 2 options. We can do it at the ground floor in level 1, which has the access from east and west. And also we can keep it at the top floor with an access from the Half Moon Bay. I think the location of the sick bay needs to be, we have to think about that, and maybe we have to bring it down to the level, first level, with an access from 2 sides. We have the shopping malls, and we can shops. We can reduce a little bit size of some of them and consider for the sick bay.
You check. Okay. No, don't come at me, guys. I kind of don't agree with the academy. Like, I don't want it. Like, I feel like if we have to make it, academize it, if that's the word, I feel like that needs a separate facility. Because, you know, in school, when we learn, we to break things. Yeah. If we want to make money from the studios and what's not, I mean, nobody. It just don't sit down right with me. When I think about academy, I think about people that are learning and they're going to try things and then brap, a $20,000 lens gone in, right? So that's just me, right? Though I do endorse the fact that, you know, Panda was saying it earlier. I'm sorry, DeAndre. He was saying that we need to come sometimes to a facility to learn, to create, because some of us don't really have it that well. No, me saying to make it to a handout situation where the creatives don't understand that they have to invest in their craft. But I remember there were programs like Operation Future that kind of get me running in the creative arena, right? And it was a great initiative, mind you. But then I think it got lost somewhere along the way, the vision. And I feel like as a youth, looking back in retrospect and what's not, I feel like if we had the right people, you know, spearheading the program, I feel like I could have been a lot further ahead. You see what I'm saying? I mean, blaming them because, you know, you're in charge of your destiny and what's not. But, you know, there's so many youths out there with just a dollar and a dream, right? And they're willing to do almost anything once they could do it and they don't have to get paid, right? But they just need a little bit of guidance. And I feel like a lot of people here, I think we'd have missed that there. The youths, them is what really going to guide us. You know, are you looking for the next, I ain't going to call them J-Black because they got to be better than the next J-Black, the next Supreme, Javid and all them things here, next Panda. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say right now.
And I want to say thank you for your contributions. Just to touch on, I think it would generally touch on what you've been asking, but again, what we're presenting here is a concept with many rooms. You have display rooms, so you have the art studio you will have the art gallery, but then you also have another room for art studio. And you have the library or a performing theater, but you also have another room that could be used for a dance studio or a recording studio. So it's not, again, it's not mutually exclusive. You have the rooms for the training and you have the rooms for the display.
Endorsed.
Gian?
Thank you. Standing as for Schneidman Warner has questions viewing, quite a bit of them, but he mentioned that he thought that the motor vehicle parking capacity was too low. We need to increase that. Next comment, the history of poor maintenance of public buildings gives one reservation about the existence of non-functional honeycombs. Then there is another comment. Have the previous reservations about sitting large structures on the aquifer been addressed and satisfied? He also raised the question about cost. What is going to be the cost to construct? And how would it be funded? And then, well, he has a question about what of the design reflects the culture, history, and people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Those were his comments.
Thank you, Gian. I think, Mr. Warner, if you're listening, some of your concerns or questions would have been answered in the presentation. I would want to believe that you may have signed on late. So if you want to go back, and it's on YouTube, it's always there. And if you have any further questions, you can always reach out to us. Thank you. There's a question here from Style Jerk. I'm wondering if there was any mention or consideration of cyclorama wall, which usually take up sizable spaces for productions, similar to what Jonathan was saying. We're going to have spaces that you can just occupy, that there's equipment there, or there's an empty shell that you can bring in all your props. You can come and make your costumes. I think there's spaces for that. Gian, I'm hearing you said disability. So we're speaking to ramps and elevators and the likes. Mr. Lawrence?
Yeah, it's easy to miss that because it's so expected. Has to be disability, well, friendly for persons with disabilities, not just physical, but other types of disabilities. So I'm pretty sure all that going to be incorporated. You can't be building a building in this day and age and don't take those kind of things into consideration. There was a question in relation to the aquifer, which I thought was a very good question. If you were to look at the land, it is not on the aquifer. It is the foothills that, in fact, it's all rocks, if you think about it. And the good thing about the design and the designers is that when you end where the rocks, when you come to where the rock end and you start the aquifer, that's where they're looking at enhancing good landscape, trail walks, doing natural things that doesn't affect doing anything on the aquifer. I'm in my own personal mind, I'm looking at a place you can go for a walk. You don't have to walk on the street. You can have long pathways to walk, to ride, where your kids could go, and just enjoy themselves. That's what I would like to see on the aquifer. More natural, nature stuff. But to be very direct, the building, the footprint is not on the aquifer.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. We'll take Kamal at this time and anybody else after.
All right, blissful greetings, everyone. Kamal here. First of all, thank you. Much appreciation for allowing me this forum. I love the creative concepts that we have so far for the building, the architecture. I'm thankful that the developers are giving us an avenue for shifting, adjusting, enhancing. They're not saying this has to be the final product itself. And I do trust that these are not falling on, as one of my young people would say, blind ears. You understand? Because a lot of times we have these consultations and they kind of stop behind four walls. You understand? So I wish to reiterate the words of my longtime friend there, Ms. Jeffers, that we are going to be putting fire under the feet of the people that they need to be put under. There was a lot of talk about the environmental factors in the beginning and how we are integrating this building to deal with the naturality that surrounds the specific area that is going to be built in. I didn't hear anything spoken about the concern for the surrounding water table. I didn't hear anything spoken about what we're going to do to address the plumbing. As we know, it's supposed to be a protected area, the water table. And so I would love to see more concerns raised in terms of how we are going to really deal with building around that space. We've seen many times that there have been proposed developments for that particular area, and the concern is always, well, if this is an area that supplies most of the Bastille region with water, then how are we going to put concrete and all of these different things there and not consider that, if my mommy wants to take a shower, she's not going to get brown, dirty water. She's going to get very clear, pristine, almost beach-like water. You understand? So I would really love to hear a lot more about the environmental concerns or the environmental factors that we are looking at, more than just building into the hills, but rather what we are doing to conserve, preserve, and maintain the huge water table that exists around that area. I love the cinema. I think the cinema is amazing. What I would love to see in the cinema is locally produced films I'm sure that's probably been something that has been brought up before, but I really wish to highlight that we have lots of phenomenal film creatives on island, both, you understand? And with all of these various cinema rooms, I believe that we can have more screenings or more access to our local film creatives. Perhaps now that we have the grant that the creative economy is putting forward, hopefully those film creatives will take advantage and we have more locally produced TV shows, more locally produced films, all those different things that we can have local screenings for within those various cinema rooms. Maybe that can be more purposeful than just trying to integrate international films and compete with the Caribbean cinemas. Perhaps these cinema rooms can also double as workspaces so that we don't necessarily have to get screens in every single space that we're trying to use as an educational room. I would love to see, like, I share the same vision as a lot of the creatives in the room, and I say when we realize that it's a lot of retail, too much retail. I mean, I know he came back and he said that there's just a small little space. I think it's a lot more than that. There's just too much retail going on. Perhaps more space that we can host TV shows for live studio audiences, you understand? I think that would be wonderful. We do need, there's a lot of upcoming broadcast stations that need space, need home, you understand? ZIZ has a beautiful structure up there, but there's lots of, you know, online platforms. I'm not going to call them out, but we all know they're very popular, that I think would really love a home that they can call their own, that they can produce right there and then to do their own things. I think there should be, I have a huge list, just like Jonathan, so I'm happy that you're giving me the moment to kind of go through this. I think there should be incentives. If they are going to, if the shopping area is going to be designated towards local creative entrepreneurs, then there should be incentives to kind of encourage the local creative entrepreneurs to take up room. I think that would be a great idea. Can the theater that we have host the demands for international travel groups? That's another thing. I would really love for the future consultations to consider this. I've seen a situation where a particular theater space did not have the proper size stage. It did not have the proper wooding, if that's even a word, and all of that to host a company, a theater company that was coming in from miles away. You understand? And so I would love to know that we are really taking our time to put the pen to paper, to dot the I and cross the T when we're looking at how large these performance spaces are going to be and what we can actually do with them, how compatible they are to the needs of us, our people, and our culture. I agree with Jay Black when he said that we should probably get a separate facility for the educational purposes, perhaps a creative arts educational center. Of course, maybe that's the second project that these people can take on, just putting a shameless plug in there for that. And of course, with all the concerns that have been raised, I do hope and trust that we are doing more consultation with with not only the creative side, but we're also doing consultations with stakeholders from all the ministries, because we see there was a concern about the sick bay, there was concern about safety procedures. There's lots of different concerns that I'm sure for this one center that I'm sure all the ministries can definitely put a plug into. And with that said, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Kamal. I don't see any more hands, so we would wrap up at this point. We'll give our developers the final word. And we have a hand. Sorry. And then we'll take Kindra, developers. And then Kindra would be the final person, and then the head table.
Go ahead. Hello? Sure. Yeah? No, I mean, elevation.
Regarding the environmental issues, from the beginning we considered that this project, we know that at the front of these foothills there is aquifer of the island, and we have special concerns regarding environmental aspects of this project, not to be make a situation and jeopardize the environmental issues of the island. And regarding the elevations, we considered just the existing slope to be used, and we will not go above the existing levels of the top road, and it will also considered in the design aspects of the project. Regarding the other issues, which is the rainwater, and is very important for that area, we have a special concern that we have a system for the filtration and gathering of the rainwater, which can be used for the as a potable water of the this area, and it has also some architectural aspects for as a fountain at the open section of the concert hall. I think if there is anything more I can explain, please let me know.
We use that useful of the space. I believe this is the things that it should be decided later for how they want to use the space for a different options and different use.
Thank you so very much. Kendra, you have a mic?
Okay. The only thing for, I'm Tamika Kindra, I'm a dancer. The only thing for us is affordability. So with all these fancy things and this nice building and, you know, everything is modern,
state of the art.
State of the art. Would the creatives afford to pay rent, or would afford to pay for a room? The affordability for us. Yes, that's the only thing for us.
To answer that simply, as indicated, this isn't a private building. It is done through the CBI project as a public good or public benefit, and afterward will belong to the government. And essentially it will belong to you, the creatives. And so at the end of the day, everything will be done in the interest of the people that own it, which is the creative economy. I'm saying it will be affordable to you.
In wrapping up, we would like to thank very much our developers for your time, for your energy, for your creativity, staying up till now, which is early for us but late for you. We thank you very much for envisioning what we have been asking for so many years, and we thank you for accommodating and facilitating all our comments, which I am convinced that you will take into consideration, because I do believe that As I said before, this is a one-time opportunity for all of us. It's been years in coming, and I don't know when again we're going to have a space like this, so we got to get it right. And in getting it right, there will be further consultation. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about functionality, the revenue that will be generated, both for the creatives and for the sustainability of the building, affordability and safety. Those are throughout the entire night what we have been asking for. We'll take Dawood, and then the minister will give his closing remarks, and Mr. Lawrence.
Yes, good night, everybody. What I wanted to know is what the time frame as to the actual construction, and how long was the estimated time of completion when it starts. That's what I really want to know, because I didn't hear anybody ask that question. So just wanted to know.
Thank you for that question. The minister will address that in his closing remarks. We'll take developers.
Yes, if I am here correctly, I believe they ask about the completion of the project. Actually, the construction period, as our team check, it will take 3 years, estimated maybe 3.5 or 3 years. But after we are getting all approvals, and when the construction is started, by 3 years will be completed.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's it.
Mr. Lawrence, and then the minister will close us out.
Just to say, I'm very happy for the opportunity to be here. I think this has been very productive. I'm also happy that I have the opportunity to work with those two gentlemen that you see on the screen. I've been working with them for the last 15 years. As I indicated, they're serious people. They know what they want. They're genuine about what they do. And I think it's a privilege. You know, in this CBI business, you hear all the negatives. Sometimes we don't hear a lot of the positives. The persons, I guess where I sit, I get to see a lot of the positives, where I see some citizens who are retired brain surgeons, you know, trying to come here to work for a week or a month, a year, to give back to the community. And as we are seeing with these two gentlemen who are now looking to give back again more to our island. And it's really a privilege. For me, who's in the business, you know, when you come across this kind of interest, genuine interest in our country, it is really heartwarming. And I want to say thank you to them. I want to say thank you to the minister. The minister has been very responsive, very receptive. From day one, he says, Farron, we're going to make this happen. And he has taken all the necessary steps that convinced me that he's serious about making it happen. So I think you have good leadership here in the minister. That would be critical to bring this to fruition. And I have no doubt that it will. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. And we are, actually, it was a very useful, the comment was excellent comment we received. And I'm glad the system that you have, that the comment of the public, it's very valuable for all of us. And because at the end of the day, the public want to use it, and we should know what they need, and all of that we will consider in the final design. Thank you. Have a very wonderful night.
I would like to add something as well. First of all, I would like to appreciate that was a very useful meeting, and we got very good comments. We took note. All these, I'm sure that not only us as a developer, our designers also will consider all these details. And but one thing is very important for me, which Mr. Farhan Lawrence, together with Dr. Duggins, they can summarize the ideas of the nation and the comments which gathered and items which are in common and are very important. If we could get it as soon as possible. I know that on the 30th of October, we have to revise our, before 30th of October, we have to revise our design according to the last recommendations and comments. And we can, if we get these comments, definitely we will have enough time to put it in our next revision. I would like to say again, thanks for the opportunity we had to express this project. And I'm sure that this will be a very fantastic project in that area and will be an iconic for the island. Thank you very much.
Yes, and I just want to close out by saying again, thank you. I want to say thank you, and I will start with our developers, my friends, and I've had the chance to visit their development in Dubai, and I could tell you they are exceptional in their delivery, and I've seen it firsthand. I want to also say thank you to, again, Farhan for really being at the helm of this, and he has given me the credit, but I think I have to give him credit for his guidance and leadership in getting this in the right space. So thank you, Farhan. And again, like I said, I want to thank the leadership of the Prime Minister, because a lot of times as a minister, especially with an area like the creative economy that has not really been given significant value and relevance in the grand scheme of what government is, you know, you have tourism and infrastructure and all these other things that people deem more valuable socially. To really put emphasis and support behind the delivery of something like this, I have to give the government, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet credit for supporting this vision, and that's important. But I also want to say that for me, this is huge. It's like, take away the ministerial title. I'll be fighting for this regardless. So at the end of the day, it's really just something that I've always believed in, always wanted, and happy to fight for. And in this position is only the best. And so a public forum like this is for you to bring your ideas so that we could get the best. We've designed something conceptually that we believe is phenomenal, but it's not the end product until our people weigh in and give their input. And then we could create something that is the best for all of us. And that is what tonight was really about. And again, tonight isn't the last. As we go on and we develop, ideas will continue to come. And where we could implement them, we will. The whole idea of the structure is that I want us to see it as a shell, and it is our ideas that will generate what that shell will be used for. And so all the ideas of the photography room and the dance room and the paint room, that wasn't left out. It's waiting for us to inject that into what the use of the shell would be. And tonight was exactly for that. And I'm happy that we got that tonight. So tonight, to me, was a huge success. Our people came and represented. And I would say here, long live the creative arts. And kudos to the creative economy and the hardworking staff. Thank you, good night, safe journey home.